Hello, my name is Rose White, and for LGBT History Month Online 2021, I am reading extracts from my first novel, The Sisterhood. Cold, empty, plain, dull. Phoebe lay in her little bed and wondered if she was thinking about the flat or about her life. When it came to describing them, there didn't really seem to be a lot of difference these days. Well, she thought, I'm awake, so I might as well get up. Wonder if there's enough in the meter for a shower. She always seemed to feel dirty somehow after a night at the club. There was a strange thing in itself, she knew, but try as she might, she didn't seem able to get to the bottom of it. What was there about spending time with people similar to herself that she found so embarrassing, immature, irrelevant? She slid from under the duvet and shivered slightly. It was cold in here, but then something had to give. She just put another layer on, haul out the winter leggings, and try and divert something from somewhere into the lecky meter. Her feet found slippers, her only pair, and a present from someone or other a couple of Christmases ago, and she padded into the bathroom. With practiced ease, her eyes slid across the peeling wallpaper and the crack in the bath, pretending they didn't really exist. She caught her dilator before it wobbled off the top of the cistern as she sat down and held it absently while she peed. She still hadn't collared the landlord to tell him about the toilet that was threatening to come completely off its bolts and thus rocked alarmingly every time she sat on it. Fucking hate this, she muttered, catching sight of lank hair and pallid skin in the rapidly fogging mirror. Didn't fucking sign up for this. She reached around, pulled the handle carefully in case it set the loo off wobbling again, and then stood up with equal caution. A tall, thin, perhaps slightly too thin woman with long mouse brown hair to her small but firm breasts stared back from the mirror. Deep-set eyes and a hard-pursed, angry mouth did nothing to ease the pale hue of her face, and she had had such high hopes. Back into the bedroom, if only because it was a degree or two warmer. She wasn't even going near the kitchen before she had some clothes on. Not only was it the coldest room in the flat, but it looked out onto the block next door, and she was sure someone opposite had binoculars or something trained back at her. She'd caught the flash of sunlight on lenses any number of occasions, so now she never went in there unless fully covered up. She wasn't a bloody peep show. Embattled. She stopped at the doorway, puzzled momentarily as to where the word might have popped into her head from. And why? Was that how she felt about the other girls? Well, so many of them weren't even women, of course. Not really, not properly. Blokes in dresses who got their glad rags out once a month and then went back to their normal lives. One hand unconsciously dropped to her groin. Fingers stroked the lips of her clitoris as if reassuring her that it hadn't all been a dream, that she had done the right thing, the only thing she could have done. Maybe she did feel a little embattled by some of them at the club. Or maybe what she felt was envy that so many of them seemed able to stop short of that level of desperation and need. But she had to. On the other hand, maybe the word had come to her simply because she'd been thinking about the prick in the other tower block. Phoebe pursed her lips and scribbled a line on a notepad by the bed. Phone housing re arsehole. It joined an already long list of things to do, people to contact, issues to try and progress, even if they couldn't be resolved. Now snug in a baggy jumper and heavy leggings, Phoebe ventured back towards the kitchen, aiming the remote at the little telly as she passed. The mind-numbing vacuity of daytime television filled the chill little flat. She poured water into the kettle, just enough for the one cuppa, and scowled as she opened the cupboards. Her dark eyes flickered from nearly empty shelves to the grubby calendar from the takeaway down the street. Still too many days to go. More days than there was food to fill them. Oh well, she muttered to nobody in particular. The diet's going to be going well again then? Then she sat in her one and only chair, buried her head in her hands, and sobbed. And if you would like to know what happens to Phoebe, you'll find out in the rest of the book. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.